Friends, family, fans, welcome back to another episode of Back Nine Bets. It's your boy, the Model Maniac, who is it's the MJ flu game for your boy. I am not doing okay, but we are here for you. So please enjoy the effort that this is taking out of me. Just enjoy. Please enjoy, because I know I'm going to try. I looked at the whiskey before I climbed on you, and it didn't look good. So just know that. But we got the $100 bill shirt on. We didn't cash in outright, but we said we were going to win something last week, and we've said it a million times. So don't think it's gospel. But we did something great last week, folks. We finished a casual second in a DFS contest, the $10 mini 18 entry max. Finished second. We had some stuff go down. It was awesome. Max Homer was T14. Patrick Cantley, fourth. Jordan Spieth coming through clutch at 4%, 5% ownership. He finished fourth. Could have almost won the goddamn thing. Keith Mitchell with a hell of a bit of a comeback on Sunday morning. Keegan Bradley with the ultimate comeback. He was way out of it, sitting outside top 40, so he cashed the top 40 bet and finished T10, which was very clutch. Victor making bogey on the final hole. Got Bradley into a T10 versus T11 or whatever. And then obviously Kurt Kitayama. It's basically like hitting an outright on the guy. Kurt Kitayama at 2% in our lineup. The guy was sensational. Absolutely sensational stuff. The nuts he showed down the stretch was incredible. Absolutely incredible. He was fantastic. Everything about his game. Hit 2 balls OB, made a triple, made a double, played the par 5 on the front 9 there, like 3 over par for the weekend, a par 5. So taking a casual 13 shots on two holes over the weekend, which is horrific. Made it 7. Things are rough, but he managed to keep it together for us. And it was great. So we took one down, babyish. We didn't take it down, sorry. It was a second place, but contest selection is so critical. I got $750. The guy that won got $1,000. Like, cool. I'll take a second place. That's totally okay. There's other contests like Joe Nicely, another PGA Rotor Baller superstar. He took down a $30,000 FanDuel contest last week. The PGA crew at Rotor Baller is absolutely out here making waves in the DFS world. Spencer's been crushing the head-to-heads. We are doing great things. So while we're hot, go grab yourself some Rotor Baller subscriptions. Go grab yourself all the free articles if you don't want the subscriptions at rotoballer.com. Use code MANIAC if you want to get on board and get all the premium stuff. I did use the lineup optimizer, for what it's worth, to generate that lineup. Now, I did pick the players, but I put the players into the machine and the machine kicked out. You can select, okay, give me guys that are sub 5%. Give me a max ownership threshold of like 90%, which I typically try and do. Use that optimizer. It's part of the package. You get all the articles, you get all the Discord stuff, you get all of that jazz, and you get the optimizer. So go over to rotoballer.com. We're cooking with gas. And this is, we know, me and Spencer in particular with the betting, this is when we start ramping things up. Start ramping it the hell up. I've hit a players winner here the last 2 years. I hit JT and then I hit Cam. So we're looking for a little three-peat. I was looking earlier at the track record, and it's been 14 events since I've hit a winner, which was the Shriners. So if the law of averages is something, man, we are destined for a dub. So stay tuned. Stay the freaking hell tuned to Back Nine Bets in the Rotoballer crew. So go check it out there, rotoballer.com/radio, and then use code MANIAC for 10% off if you want to get into that jazz over there. What does this course want? We go into the players, TPC Sawgrass, and before I even get into the stats here, I want to just, let's look at the stats because that's what matters, and it will explain what we're going to talk about. Accuracy off the tee is 2% more important correlation-wise than distance. Distance is -3%. Strokes gained off the tee in general is 1% less. So you need to keep your ball in the fairway. You got to keep it on the right side of the fairway. Approach play, about tour average. But if you don't hit your ball where you need to on approach, you can be in some serious trouble as there's water everywhere. Putting and around the green, pretty much baseline stuff. This golf course, though, it's the general theme of the Florida swing, folks, is pivot your face off. There's water everywhere. It doesn't seem like there's going to be incredible weather. It seems like there is going to be a pickup in wind on in the PM, the afternoon of Friday. So you want to go PM, AM, wave stacks, if that's a thing. I don't know diddly squat about the weather, but if I just take an objective look at the weather, that's what's telling us. We've got about 52% of shots that come from 125 to 200. As you can see, nothing exceptionally crazy in regards to proximity ranges that are much more likely than on tour. It's pretty much all the same until you get to 225 to 250, which means that these par fives are pretty critical. Those 225 to 250 shots are not par four shots. I believe that's a lot of the par fives, where there are 4 of them. So that's why we've got a 13% total par 5 weighting in our model. We've got 30% for 2023 stats and 70% for 2022. So you know how we roll with that long baseline. That's typically what we like to do here. The history, this course history is kind of predictive, but also at the same time, it can cause all sorts of havoc. There's guys that have played well here and have missed 50% of their cuts. So that's just how it goes. So don't think it's gospel, and don't, if a guy's got great course history, you can easily very much miss the cut. You can also easily finish inside the top 10. So that's what's cooking there. We got recent history, recent form here for 10%. We got 40% total approach. We've got, the pro-rated buckets out here cooking at 4, 4, and 3 for 125 through 200. And then we got a little bit of putting, about 7% there. I took out the Bermuda, which I thought this was, according to Fantasy National. Apparently, according to my boy Ron Class, it's Poa Trivialis, and it's just a weird overseed surface. So we're just going with general putting inside of 5 to 15 feet. We're not going to get too technical there. And then a little bit from 5 to 25 feet too. Around the green, just a casual 10% worth of stuff there. Birdie percentages, 4%. We'll let the par 5 birdie percentages take care of the business there at 13. And then 11% for total bogey avoidance. Off the tee, 3%. Driving accuracy, 3%. Good drives gained, 2%. And then just recent off the tee stuff, 2%. And then 5% for specialized off the tee, which is the specialized off the tee is going to be strokes gained off the tee on not pars, golf courses that are 7,200 yards or less. Okay, that's what's cooking there. So this column right here, specialized off the tee, is golf courses that are 7,200 yards or less. And these are the guys that have gained strokes accordingly on those kind of courses. Also, don't take that for gospel. Take a little bit of accuracy involved. You want to, if it's a short hitter on tour, accuracy is going to be important because they're going to be in the fairway. They can still hit their driver just like they do on normal courses. And then if there's like a guy like a Patrick Cantley or a Justin Thomas, let's actually look for someone else, like a Willie Z. Who did I actually want to look at? It was Adam Scott earlier. He was an interesting guy, but I'm getting sidetracked already here. We need to get it figured out. But these 2 boxes right here for 225 to 250 and 250 to 275, that's essentially what people will be using to club down on this golf course. If you're not hitting driver, which a lot of these golfers most likely won't be doing, you're going to be hitting a golf shot that goes that distance. So if they've got like a weird accuracy problem, like Justin Thomas, he's got a big accuracy issue off the tee, but from 225 to 275, he's sitting at 40th in the model, which is a much better percentage than 122. So that's what you're kind of looking for here. You don't have to take accuracy for gospel. You don't have to take good drives gained. Like that helps. If that's good, then great. But if not, don't write that guy off. Figure out another way to see if he's actually pretty good elsewhere. So that's what's cooking there. We've got medium golf course scoring, which we want to look at too. That's going to be important. And yeah, let's get into it. Your boy just needs some lemonade quickly. I'm struggling. Life is tough here behind the microphone. It's I don't know what I've got. I think I've got like some sort of sinus infection or what the hell, but we're losing our voice as we're going here. Par 5 scoring. Scotty Scheffler. He is 4th in the field. He's 1st in the model. Oh, by the way, I didn't want to take up a whole bunch of space here because of this tee time. So I just kind of made it small, but the orange ones are going to be the wrong wave, and then the green ones is going to be technically the right wave, that, the one that's beneficial, the PM AM stack. So green, PM AM, orange, AM PM. So that's what we're looking for there from a DFS perspective, or anything else. So let's get into it. Scotty Scheffler first in the model, $10,600 in DFS. Looking like he's going to be roughly 24, 25% owned. It's going to be really interesting because Jon Rahm was priced $11,800, and I don't think I actually even want to play him yet, just to get weird. We'll get to Jon Rahm. Scotty Scheffler. So we spoke about how this golf course is an absolute ball striker's paradise. You have to be in control of your golf ball through the air. You can't get up and down for par, because if you've had an errant shot that's errant enough to hit the water, you're in trouble, folks. So be sure that you're picking guys that can keep their ball in control, and Scotty Scheffler leads the field over the last 24 rounds doing that. He's also spectacular off the tee on these shorter golf courses there, sitting 9th, and it most likely has to do with the fact that he's 30th from 225 to 250. So we like that. Makes a ton of birdies, 4th in scoring on par 5s. Everything about Scotty Scheffler's game makes the world of sense. Now, from a bit of a DFS perspective, these three guys, they, especially like with Jon Rahm coming in under 20%, maybe even less than that, when people start wanting to click names, 11.8 is a hefty number to put there. So I don't know what we're going to do with Jon Rahm. Rory and Scotty are going to be the two popular plays just because of the discount they're going to be getting. Scotty in particular, because he's going to be $1,200 cheaper than Jon Rahm. So that's how that's going to be working out. None of them have particularly fantastic course history recently in the last 5 years. I know Rory has won this event, but I don't know. It's weird. It's a really weird thing. So don't feel like you have to click any of these guys. I think you can easily get away with finding a few pivots, like Xander Schauffele is going to be a very interesting play, because he's going to come in at 12%. The course history is not nearly as nice as the rest of the fields, and the recent performances, he's had some iffy situations. But if you want to get weird, get weird. So that's what's going on, Scotty. Everything about his game seems to make the world of sense at this venue. The putting has been a bit of a concern for the guy lately, but like we said, you can ball strike this place to death and just have non-stop birdie looks from 25 feet at this golf course, which Scotty Scheffler is very good at doing. So that's what's cooking with Scotty. Rory, 11K. He's also the ball striking second there of the last 24 rounds. Behind Scotty, the around the green play has been a little bit better. The putting has been a little bit worse. That's what you're getting. Like we've got these two elite ball strikers entering at the first and second spot, but they're very blotchy and sketchy with the short game. So that's not necessarily the worst thing going into this venue, like we've discussed. He's second in medium course scoring, which is great. Off the tee, it's okay. It's not the worst, but he's got like 96th in accuracy because he's got that immense distance off the tee. So that's what you're going to look at the specialized off the tee stuff for. On the shorter courses, he's 25th. So that's okay. He's got that length. He can hit those 3 irons, 250 or whatever, hit a nice little 5-wood or something, 270, get it out there in the fairway. And as you look at his long iron metrics, these are proximity numbers from that distance into greens, which is not necessarily the fairway, but you got to imagine if you're good at hitting it into the green, you pretty much can assess that that's the same as going into the fairway, right? Par 5 scoring for Rory, second in the field. Love to see that from him. Absolutely love that. Johnny Rahm, 11.8. So, yeah, I don't know how we're going to deal with these two guys. I think it's very ownership dependent. I'm not going to go play these two dudes. I don't feel like they're going to be significantly better than a few guys in the 9K range. And then you can get a whole lot of other better players in there and get weird with the ownership. So Jon Rahm at 11.8, he's going to probably come in around about 50. I mean, geez, dude, he's 19% right now, but I feel like that has to go down as people start clicking. And I want to just tell you now, when you're watching golf this weekend, Jon Rahm's going to be playing and he's going to look frustrated. And the reason he's going to look frustrated is because he is going to hit a wedge into these softer greens. We've just come from the Genesis Invitational out in California. The West Coast swing was hard and dry. The Farmers, the Genesis, Bay Hill, all golf courses with hard, firm greens. Not a lot of wedges are definitely played into that into those holes, but when they are, Jon Rahm when you looked at the Waste Management Phoenix Open, that golf course was playing hard and dry too. And Jon Rahm was spinning wedges back up a hill on that. Not a lot, but he was definitely spinning it a little bit. His wedge control is poor. For the world's best golfer, number one golfer in the world, everything about his game is phenomenal. The wedges are poor. They are very poor. And if you look at his weighted proximities, weighted approach, this column right here, 26th in the field, when his approach play over the last little while has been third. So there's a lot to like about John, but you got to remember that this course is very unique, and it's got thick rough, and it's also got very soft, spongy, receptive greens. So if we get a little bit of rain, I believe there might have been rain on the forecast for some Friday stuff. If there's rain, this golf course is going to be even wetter, and then John's going to be spinning these wedges. So anything at the back of the green is unattainable for John when it comes to the wedge. And there's a lot of very difficult wedge shots at this golf course. And we saw it last year. He made, I think, an 8 on one of the holes. He hit 3 wedges into the water. I think the third one was almost in the water and then managed to make an 8 from a million miles away. I think he like 2-putted. So just bear that in mind with Jon Rahm. I don't think I won't even touch him to even get different, because I don't think this golf course suits his game. He's made a lot of cuts here, but his course history is 20th. He's had 1 T9, I think, and the rest of his all of the rest of his finishes have been outside the top 10. He's not one of these guys that's going to famous last words, but I don't see him winning this event, even as the world's best golfer. This is not a course for him. Patrick Cantley also got terrible course history, but coming in, he came in clutch, man. He 3-putted 2 greens on Sunday and still managed to finish T4. I think he went 3-putt, drain a bomb for eagle, 3-putt or something crazy. I was watching him and he lost 1 stroke twice on the greens. It was so tilting, and then he managed to get it together. So the putting was iffy for him last week, but he managed to figure it out, and he cruised through. The last 24 rounds, he's 6th in the field in total strokes gained. The ball striking for Cantley, the approach play, is a bit of a concern, and it might make sense why he's never really excelled here. The iron play, I don't know, but it seems like his weighted proximity numbers, it likes it. Maybe because he's very, very good on the par 5s. I think his long irons are a lot better than his short irons. And, that's why the par 5 scoring for him is fantastic. And he's got one of the best short games in the world. So that's what's cooking with Patrick Cantley, 24% ownership at $9,700. We'll see where we go. I don't see myself playing too much of him, to be honest. JT as well, 22%. There's going to be a lot of, I might just fade these first 5 guys in the model, which is really weird to think about. I like other people, like Max Homer, to me, would be a guy I really want to go to, even though the model hasn't really figured out his 2022 stats. They've got 70% of that stuff in there. He's not caught up yet. If you look at his recent performances, though, much better. So I'm out on Patrick Cantley as well. The course history at that ownership, to me, I don't necessarily appreciate that. He had a great week last week, and now it came in clutch for us, but we're going to jump off the ship now. I think that's how we're going to roll. Pivot your freaking face off in the Florida swing. So let's see what we can get up to. Justin Thomas, course history, 9th. He's got one of the best course histories out of all these guys in the top of the model. His recent performances haven't been that good. If you look at the ball striking, I know he's going to a course that he's won this event, but he won it from all the way having made the cut on the number. So that's what you get with Justin Thomas. There's definite safety concerns with JT at this venue, especially with the way he's playing. Like, if he has a bad putting day, which he has, we had Fade My Play on the pod yesterday, and he said 4 straight events now, he's been putting nicely. So nice things from JT on the flat stick there, but the around the green play for Justin Thomas is fantastic, but the ball striking has been a bit of for JT standards, not quite there. So we'll see what he can get up to, but his par 5 scoring, fantastic. The bogey avoidance is 55th in the field. You see, that's the thing. That's the safety that you're getting. But now he's $9,400. You can get away with that a little bit at that price. But 55th in the field for bogey avoidance for Justin Thomas. He hasn't been playing very good, safe, in control of his game. So if you're going to get a 22% guy, he can miss this cut. And then there we go. 22% 92% of this field is gone. So I'm just thinking now, we'll play some Scotty Scheffler for sure. I do like Scotty this week. 10-6, let's go there because we can't leave everyone out here. But JT at 22%, we're out. I don't like what we're seeing there on the ball striking front, even though he's got a reasonable course history. I wouldn't call it phenomenal. That win was from behind. Justin Thomas isn't a dude he's kind of allergic to the lead, if you ask me. If you look at his finish at the Waste Management, he came roaring up the leaderboard on Sunday. His win at the PGA Championship, roaring up the leaderboard from behind. The win here, roaring up the leaderboard. So anytime then he had that great round on Friday, shit the bed on Saturday. So that's what happens with JT, man. He's a great DFS showdown play, especially after a poor round. You can often expect him to bounce back, but there's usually always a poor round involved with Justin Thomas's game. Whereas like Scotty and Rory and the boys, they typically are a lot more consistent. So 22% Justin Thomas, that's why I'm not going to be going there. Xander Schauffele, the model suggesting we're betting for a top 20 at plus 135. His course history is pretty crappy here too. The recent performances, especially the last 2 events he's played, has been rather poor for his standards outside of the top 30 both times. The approach play, though, has been great. Very, very nice stuff on approach. Love to see what he's getting up to there. The off the tee stuff on these shorter courses isn't as good as you'd expect. I think maybe it has to do with this 250 to 275 range. Maybe his 3-woods they're not nearly as accurate as you'd hope. And it seems like what the hell is this putting inside of 5 feet for Xander? Guy's missing 5-footers worse than Justin Thomas, which is very interesting. The par 5 scoring is the worst out of the few first guys we've had in the model. So he's 18th in par 5 scoring and 12th in birdie percentages. But I don't think I'm going to play him for a top 20 at those odds. I don't feel like it's worth it. But if you look at his historical T20 rate, he's 68% in T20s. So you're going to tell me you're going to give me plus money for a guy that's done it at 70% of the time. But this golf course hasn't treated him too well. However, at 12% ownership, I think I'm going to take a gamble there more than a T20. I've always said on this show, I prefer to be aggressive when it comes to DFS and conservative when it comes to betting. And I don't trust him. The model tells me what I can play. Doesn't tell me what I have to play. I can tell it no. I'm its master. I know when it's misbehaving. So I'm going to tell the model no. The Maniac says, no, sir. We are going to not play Xander this week, even though plus 135 is kicking out as a go side bet there. We're going to leave him alone. I don't know why. It's just I have a feeling about Xander. He's just not playing the best right now. But 12% ownership for a guy that can play well, I'm willing to take on that kind of risk. That's for sure. So he gives you some safety. We'll see what he can get up to. The $10,000 is really expensive. I think a lot of people will be going off of him, especially with his course history. So we'll be aggressive there, game theory-wise. Leave the bet alone. Tony Finau, where he be now? Where he be now? That is the real question. Look at this recent performance. If you look at Tony Finau's last little while, let's have a quick drink of lemonade here before we go to Tony quick. If you look at his recent performances, he's 9th in the field in total strokes gained. Love to see that. The ball striking is 2nd in the field on approach. Off the tee and approach have been fantastic. 6th in the field in ball striking, 2nd on approach last 24. Plays medium golf courses nicely. 9th in the field in par 5 scoring. Blah, blah, blah. Fantastic from 250 to 275. Not so hard from 225 to 250. And then you look at his weighted approaches. Great stuff there. Off the tee, 16th on these specialized courses, even though his accuracy off the tee is 81st. So I don't understand why Tony Finau has missed so many freaking cuts at this venue. Why? Why has he missed so many cuts at TPC Sawgrass? Having said that, we bet Tony Finau at 46 to 1 a while ago for an outright. The number seemed reckless by the books. It's down somewhere, I think, in the 25s now. Tony Finau. I think we're going to take a gamble on him there, and we'll take a gamble on him at $9,200 and 14% ownership. I think he's got the upside to do it. The ball striking. You can't look at this guy's recent performances when it comes to hitting the ball through the air. Like, we need control at this venue. What is he doing? So we'll take a chance on him. I love the ownership we're going to get here. He's won 3 times in the last year. Yes, it wasn't the most amazing tournaments. You know, it was the Rocket Mortgage and the 3M and the Cadence Bank Houston Open, blah, blah, blah. This is the players. But also, Tony had never won a tournament until he won those 2 back-to-back. Now he's looking to contend and become a players champion, to win a major. You know, like he needs to take that next step in his career. It's go time, Tony. Go freaking time. Everything about his game, man, it just makes sense. Everything, like the weighted approaches, medium golf course scoring, recent ball striking, par 5 scoring, the short game is okay. You know, it's like that's what's been holding him back, even though he's been finishing nicely lately. So we're going to take a gamble. If his putter gets hot, it hasn't been lately, but we know it can, and it was. So let's see. You know, like I think this golf course requires you to play away from the pins and play safely and then take your chances from further away. That's stress-free stuff for Tony. He's going to be doing that all the time. So roll some in early. Get that putter going, bro. Big Tony time. Let's go. Part of the title. 2 Toms and a Tony. There's Tony for you. We're going to get to the 2 Toms now. Colin Morikawa. Let's freaking go. 28-1 to win this freaking tournament. $9,500, 18% owned. That's kind of steep for a guy in this range, but it's Colin Morikawa. The recent performances, they're okay. But ball striking, 8th in the field. He doesn't play well in the wind, and he's going off in that wave. Oh boy. So, hey, I caramba, man. But he gets breathless conditions on Thursday. He's gonna have to nut up on Friday because we're in. We're in on Colin. Maybe we're not in on DFS side because at 18% ownership, we'll play the other pivots around him. They're all pretty good. They're all sitting around you in the model, same projections. But he's our outright bet. So we'll see what he can get up to. And I think that's a good bet to go with because if he wins, he'll have played well. I don't see him playing somewhere in the middle at this venue. I think if the wind knocks him out of the tournament before Saturday comes on Friday afternoon, then he's screwed. So then we cool. 18% of the field's missing Colin. But he's going to win this tournament if he can survive that wind. Weighted proximity numbers, first in the field. This is a ball striker's paradise. 225 to 250 yards away, second in proximity. So these 5 woods he's going to be hitting off the tee. He's going to put him in perfect spots. The par 5 scoring, a bit of a concern. But with this kind of iron play, not a concern. It's 25th in the field. It's not the best, but it could be better. And when you're looking at a guy that plays with his irons this well, and his accuracy off the tee as well is sensational. Like he's 7th in the field of accuracy. So he can hit driver when he wants to on this golf course. You know, you can hit driver. Just everything narrows down as you go. So that's okay. He's one of the best. He's the best iron player in the field. The short game, a bit of a concern. So if he can survive that, but 28-1, I feel like that's a number that's acceptable for a guy that's the best iron player, one of the best ball strikers, but one of the worst approach around the green players and putters in the field. But when he wins, he putts well. So you never see it coming. Sometimes it happens. Sometimes it doesn't. We'll see what he can get up to. Sungjae Im, $9,000. Excuse me. Sheesh. $9,000, 12% owned. His recent approach play, 38th in the field. That's typically his go-to bougie stuff. Hasn't been doing too hot. Around the greens, 4th in the field, last 24 rounds. Nice stuff there. Look at his accuracy off the tee on these short courses. 2nd in the field. Oh, boy. Love to see that. The weighted approach play, 24th in the field. That's okay. We'll see what he can get up to. But 9K, 12% owned. Another guy that's got pretty decent course history, 25th in the field. Kind of better than the majority of these guys outside of JT at the top here. Let's see what he can get up to. There's a lot of good course history guys outside of this 9K range that aren't going to be as popular, which is going to be quite interesting this week. You know, we'll see what we can get up to there. So Sungjae, don't have too much to say about him. Almost got to him at T20 for plus 165. The T20 rate is 41st in the 41%. So I'm not entirely sold on that. We'll see what we get up to, though. I don't think I'll be betting that one either. I don't think we're going to bet a single T20 this week. Got some T40s, though, down here. It told us to bet a Hideki Matsuyama at plus 320 for a top 20. If you look at his T20 rate, it's 26% in the last 19 starts. I don't know. I'd rather want to. That screams to me that's 4-1. Like 4-1 at 26%. That makes sense. And then that's still not even an edge. So, no, not going there. Even though his course history is one of the best in the field, his game is just off the boil right now. However, at 6%, game theory, folks, Jordan Spieth, 4% last week. No one saw that coming. Neither did I. You just play the play, and then you see what happens. So we've jumped down all the way to Hideki Matsuyama. We'll get back to the boys at top there. But while we're talking about him, the course history, around the green play, fantastic. Weighted approach play, fourth in the field. All of that stuff. Look at these long irons are great. He keeps his 3-wood in play all the time, and his driver has been his biggest issue. 83rd in the field of the last 24 rounds. That's his concern right now. I think at this venue, can get away with a bad drive if you hit some 3-woods that don't have whiteout on them. He'll do good. $8,400, 6% owned. That's when you play Hideki Matsuyama. You don't have to play a lot of him. You don't even have to play a lot of him. You just play 10% Hideki. Then you're sitting pretty if this guy does what he does at this golf course. So that's what's cooking with Hideki. Let's jump up to Max Homa. I am thinking about betting this guy if I can find a nice number, because I did myself dirty with a few futures. Tom Kim, we got him, but I'm definitely eyeing out Max, and I'm sitting at about 8.5 times return. I've been betting like 11 times return for the last 2 events, so I've saved up some pocket money for this week, maybe. Maybe if Max gets off to a slow start this week, we'll bet him at like 30-1. I'm looking for like a 25, 28-1. I haven't really seen that on him. I wish I had some 50s that were futures on him. I'm very disappointed. I don't want to miss the freaking boat on this guy. I've been on him every freaking time he hasn't won, and off him every time he has. And now I'm getting FOMO. So maybe I'll just bet him top 5, bet him one and done, and play him the hell up in DFS, because I love what he gets up to. He, last week, entered the week as the best putter in the field going to the Arnold Palmer Invitational. He was the worst putter not named Emiliano Grillo inside the top 40. He lost like 3 strokes putting and finished 14th. How do you do that? So he's now leading the field in approach. He's turning himself into one of, this is like literally, what? I want to say like this profiles out as a Cam Smith. I know this is a very weird comparison, but the ball striking on approach, Cam was cooking when he won here last year. The ball striking was fantastic. He's one of the best putters in the field, aka Cam Smith. The off the tee stuff is where he's different, which makes him even more of a player. Like, why have I not bet this dude? He's 12th in the field and specialized off the tee stuff. So shorter golf courses, he's 12th off the tee. Love to see that. Look at these long approaches. It's a nice little balance. He's 39th if you average those two out. So that's fine there. The par 5 scoring is 10th. Let's freaking go. And this is including 2022 stats. Should we do a little quick thing here and just see what happens? Let's go 70%. 70%. Let's see what cooks now. Where were we? Summary. Where does Max Homa go? 8th. Okay. So not all the way, but, it is what it is. So let's go back there and just figure this out quickly, because I was just curious to see what happens. It doesn't really jump as much as I'd expect, but I still love what he's doing. I mean, look at this recent the last 24 rounds. He's 7th in the field, folks. 7th in the field. The putting, he's so consistently good on the putter. And then last week, if he just gains like half a stroke each, I don't know, each round half a stroke, he wins the thing last week. He was missing 6-foot putts, 5-foot putts. Like, just terrible putting, bro. Get it together, Max. Please. Nice wave stack here, too. Look, he gets off in the nice green zone. Love to see that. So he's the PM/AM wave. Love to see that from Max there. We'll dive in on him. I really do like him this week. So I'm a little nervous that I don't have him on my card. We do have Tom Kim, who, when we bet this thing, we thought we were the most genius people in the world. 40-1, we bet this like shortly after the Shriners, I think. And then some people that were lazy and not on the ball grabbed 46s this week because Tom Kim decided he's just going to stop putting well for the last month or so. So that's what's going on with Tom Kim. As you can see here, off the tee is always going to be sitting middle of the pack. Nothing necessarily there screams like that's ever going to get better until you get to a course like this. That requires some of the best accuracy in the field. That requires some of the best long shots that you can see in the field. Everything about his game makes immaculate sense at this venue. Immaculate sense, if that's even two words you should put together. The 89 stuff off the tee, I don't think he's played enough short courses under 7,200 yards to really get there, because I need at least 16 in the database so that if it's not, I divide it by the amount of rounds. You prorate that thing to make it average. You don't want to be relying on just a few rounds of data. So I don't think he's got enough in here. And we know he's one of the most accurate golfers in the field. So we can get some really sexy performance off the tee there. He makes a ton of birdies, makes a lot of birdies. So we'll see what he can get up to. He just needs to stop missing short-ass putts, Thomas. Get it together, dog. $8,100, 15% owned. That's what his DFS situation looks like. I think I'm surprised it's not more popular at that price tag, at this venue. This course, folks, this golf course suits him. And as you can see here, he's one of the only guys who hasn't played this golf course that's inside the world top 30, probably. So he's, I don't know what his world ranking is, but somewhere around there. He's fantastic. This golf course is going to suit his short game. He's going to have impeccable iron play into these greens. What is weighted approach play? Third in the field. Let's freaking go. Yes, dude. Brian back in the chat here. Expect the unexpected at the players. Liking Tom Kim too. I like him a lot. We've got him for a top 40. I think it's telling us I think I saw it earlier. It was -115 and we're 8 points shy on the model. The model tells us what we can bet and we eliminate from there. I think we're going to do a live Tom Kim ad at -115, courtesy of Brian in the chat. Shout out to my boy. And I think at -115, a top 40, I think he's just been rattling those off. What is the top 40 situation here for Tom Kim over the last little while? Yeah, 70% of the time, 69% of the time, Tom Kim's been finishing inside the top 40. So at -115 on a golf course that really suits his game, sign us up for a top 40 there for Tom Kim. Love that bet for him there. So everything about that, we're playing him in DFS. The weather, it's going to be a little windy, but it's not going to be crazy. So I don't think you have to like overreact particularly much to the weather. So we're okay with Tom Kim going in that wave. Will Zalatoris, 6th in the field in course history here. Absolutely love what he's been getting up to. A lot of it makes sense because his iron play is just so very good. The long iron play, it's middle of the field in proximity wise, but he makes a bunch of birdies and he doesn't necessarily have to worry about those shorter putts. I think he's going to dominate from further away on the greens, give himself a lot of birdie looks with the ball striking he does. We'll see what he can get up to. 31st in good drives gained. So you got to cling on to something. The accuracy, I don't think he's going to be smashing drive off every tee box here. The weighted approach plays 9th in the field. Love that from Willie Z. I don't think people are like a little tentative about his injury concerns. So we'll see what he gets up to. He's been an interesting character lately and has been causing some stuff for people to get a little nervous about. He was fantastic at the Genesis, where he has pretty good, you'd imagine him to play well there too. So if he played well here last year, I would fancy him to play well again. The ball striking over the last 24 rounds has been great. It's just been around the green. He's had a bit of a concern recently, which he typically does have around the green anyway. So that's nothing new. So Willie Z, $8,800, 15% owned. Maybe a little bit of him. Matty Fitzpatrick. We get off Matt Fitzpatrick and then he finishes like 15th or something last week. Finally, golf betting is so freaking frustrating. Why? Why? Like, we've been on the dude when everyone's been off him, and then when everyone's on him, we get off, and then he plays well. Like, I mean, that's maybe just because I'm a dumbass, or maybe it's just how golf betting goes. But there we go. He's sitting at 12% ownership, $8,600. Nothing about his game apart from the accuracy and stuff off the tee really screams like he's going to be a success here. The bogey avoidance is great. Yes, we understand that. That's typically what he does. Around the green play and putting that's his superpower. The short game's there all the time. The ball striking has not been there. The approach play has not been there recently. So everything about his game, like especially the weighted proximity stuff, oh boy, he is not very good at getting it close to the green. He plays safe, and he plays that long game, just grinds out safe rounds. The bogey avoidance is most likely because he's playing very safe shots, which, you can see a correlation here. Unless you're a very good iron player, your bogey avoidance might go up a little bit the more close your proximity numbers are, because you're taking bigger risks, taking flags on, short-siding yourself potentially, maybe hitting it in the water. He doesn't do that. So that's what you get with that. But the birdie or better percentage, and if you want to play this guy in DFS, he's got to finish well. Otherwise, you're not getting those birdie streaks and birdie points. So Matt Fitzpatrick at $8,600. I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. I don't think we're looking for upside. I don't think he's got it at this golf course. So we're going to leave him alone. Hideki will play him in DFS. Leave him alone in the odds market there at 320. Victor Hovland at $8,900, 19% owned. Off the tee on these short golf courses, 5th in the field. Holy cow. Weighted approach play, 8th. So, top 10 rankings for both those two metrics that are essential around this venue. And then you get around the green play, which we saw Victor Hovland absolutely butcher last week. But he's also so the only issue is around the green for Vic. And his course history here is great. So there's, Jesus, you play a 20% owned Victor Hovland. You know what? Let's take a look here. Let's think this through a little bit. Sorry, people. I'm dying. Like I said, this 42 minutes in, I'm just surviving. Victor Hovland, though. His safety rating, 84th in the field, 84% of the time he makes the cut. Love to see that. The T20 and T10 rates are not nearly as high as Scotty Scheffler and the boys. But at this golf course, we can ignore that a little bit because we know how nicely it sets up for him. If he just keeps pounding greens and just keeps dominating off the tee and just keeps rolling in those freaking 5 to 15 footers, he's 14th in the field in that range. Let's go. Birdie or better percentages, he's 9th. He's very aggressive. That's fine. Compared to, it's so funny seeing him and Matty Fitz next to each other because they're so very different in their DNA of their golf. One's a bogey avoider, the other one's a birdie maker. The other one makes 1 million bogeys when he shouldn't, and the other one makes 1 million pars when he shouldn't. So that's kind of what we get between the two of them. I'm totally down on Victor at 19%. You got to pick your poison, and I think he's got the upside that you can expect from him here at this venue, and he's going to be $8,900. So I know, my boy at Degenerate 75, who does the Showdown Hoedown, great show, obviously, with thousands of views every week. No need to even put that out there. But he mentions that if you're picking a guy, in a specific price range with the ownership around them being much lower. So if we do this and we order the stuff in by salary, here's Victor. He's going to be chalk. He's going to be chalk. But if you if you compare him to the guys in this price range, like a Rory, I know it's weird to say, or Patrick Cantley, he's only $700 less than Cantley and JT. He's less ownership and he's less salary. So I think he's got the same upside as those two dudes, Cantley and JT at least. He's less ownership and he's cheaper. I don't know. That's my opinion. There's specific times I'm okay smashing the chalk there. And you know what? You can, like you don't have to listen to the rules all the time. So we roll with Victor this week. We're rolling with him. Next up on the board, folks, $7,400, 7% owned, the second Tom of the podcast, 2 Toms and a Tony. we've got Tom Hoagie, 125 to 1 on BetMGM. Posted that in the Discord. I'm not entirely sure what the odds are for him right now, but I think there's like 110s out there, 120s. Tom Hoagie. Tom freaking Hoagie, 21st in course history, which, not terrible. Like, it's better than Scotty. It's better than Rory, over the last little while. He plays good golf here. Also, he's 8th in the field in approach. And at one point he's like sensational on approach. 6th in the field in weighted baseline. So over the last 2 years, 2 seasons worth of data, if you take each proximity range on this golf course and you prorate it, so you assign it a certain percentage, he's 6th in the field. If you just take approach play, strokes gained on approach, no matter what distance it's from, he's 2nd in the field. He's 2nd in the field. So we go into a ball striker's paradise. He's actually got good drives gained sitting at 32nd. He's not too shabby. You'd expect a little bit better stuff there from him off the tee on the shorter courses, and you'd wish he'd have better long irons. But at 125 to 1, we've got one of the best iron players in the field at that price. So I just could not pass that up at a course like this. If he just gets a little bit of confidence with the driver, the around the green play for him is a big concern. It's not necessarily the best, it's probably one of his biggest weaknesses, really. It actually is. So that's a problem. But look at the putting. It's 35th in the field over the last 24 rounds. And he's also 36th in the field from 15 to 5 feet. So correlations, right? So your around the green play is way more important the worse you are as an iron player. So if you look at his around the green play, it's very bad. But he's most likely, as one of the best iron players in the field, going to hit far less chips this week than someone like Matthew Fitzpatrick or all of these guys are pretty good iron players. But, like a bad iron player is going to chip. Tommy Fleetwood is going to chip a lot more than Tommy Hoagie. Whew, too many times in that sentence there, but you get what I'm saying. His biggest deficiency can easily be nullified if his biggest strength is emphasized this week. Some very weird correlations, philosophical conundrum juxtapositions, but you get what I'm saying. At 125 to 1, I'm willing to take that gamble at that course history as well. So we'll see what he can get up to. Tom Hoagie, 125 to 1, $7,400. He's the first guy in the $7,000 range that pops up in the model, obviously, because we got 40% approach play in the rank, in the settings there. So Tom Hoagie, 7% owned. He seems kind of popular. Let's go there too, though. We love what he can get up to at this venue. Love his upside. He won at Pebble Beach, a nice, shorter positional course that also has the smallest greens on tour. Remember, that explains everything. Like, if you got small greens and your iron play is solid, you don't have to chip that much compared to the rest of the field. So that's what we like about him here. Hopefully he can avoid the water. Off the tee is probably going to be a bit of a concern. It's been a big problem for him lately. But 125, we'll take that gamble. $7,400. He's sitting fine. We like him here. So Cameron Young's next up. His putting and short game has been really bad. Really, really bad. And I was having some serious FOMO last week when he was ball striking the crap out of it and then putting well on Thursday. And then we saw what he did. It's like the moment you realize, oh boy, I'm playing some good golf. Like, if you have a crack in your game, that shit gets exposed ASAP when you get put under pressure. And his short game is a little bit of a problem right now. If you look at his putting from inside 5 feet, it is disgustingly bad. There's 144 people in this field. He's 134th in putting inside of 5 feet. But he's 5th in putting from 5 to 15 feet, though. That's something crazy, isn't it? So he's inside that 5-foot range. It's yippee. He's got major confidence problems, and it's a concern. So another thing about him is he's really interesting when it comes to par fives. He's got incredible length off the tee. He's one of the best off the tee in the field. His off the tee ranking is 3rd. His long iron play is actually very substandard. From 225 to 250 yards, he's 107th in the field. I got Phoebe here behind me panting in his sleep because she's having a nightmare about Cam Young's putting. But you get the gist. So we're going to leave him alone. I don't know if this golf course particularly suits him that well. The course history has 70th. We'll leave him alone. So we'll see what he gets up to. Corey Connors, fantastic course history, going off in the PM wave. It's going to be interesting. 2 seconds. Oh, we got nightmares going on here, folks. I'm sick. Phoebe's having a nightmare. All sorts of stuff going on. Corey Connors, ball striking. He's the lullaby. I think that might be his nickname. Yeah. He just rockabye baby into the top 20 because he's never going to win another tournament ever again because it doesn't seem like he can find himself at the top of the leaderboard for far too long unless he does a Justin Thomas and comes from way behind and just wins after going off 7 pairings before the leaders kind of thing. That's how I think Corey Connors will ever win. But if you're looking for a guy that's consistent, has got great ball striking, 16th in the field for a guy that's $7,400, So if you're looking for a top 20, he's your guy. 26% of the time for a guy that's $7,400, he's going to finish inside the top 20. His recent ball striking is looking really good. Off the tee on these shorter golf courses, 5th in the field. Hello, let's go. Weighted approach play, 15th in the field. So everything about him is fantastic until you get around the green and on the putting surfaces. And then we got problems. But the bogey avoidance of 27th, even for someone with that bad short game, still very nice. $7,400, but 14% ownership. I will easily pivot to Russell Henley, who's a third of the ownership or half the ownership. So this is where it's okay to eat some chalk, like on a Victor or whatever. Fine. But then don't go and do Corey Connors either in the same lineup kind of thing. Because Russell Henley, in my opinion, is basically the same person if you look at them from a long-term perspective. Recently, his approach play and off the tee stuff, ball striking, not nearly as good as Corey Connors is. But when you look at his accuracy off the tee, it's better than Corey over the long period of time. It's 4th and 4th, accuracy and good drives gained. Specialized off the tee, 22nd. Love to see that. Weighted proximity numbers, 12th in the field, better than Corey's. Around the green play, he's really good around the greens. And then he's about as bad or worse than Corey Connors putting. So that's what you're getting from Russell Henley. He makes a lot more birdies, though, because he just absolutely throws daggers and darts when it comes to wedge ranges. His wedge proximity numbers are sensational, and then he just hits it to dead. Like, he can be the worst putter in the world. He misses probably more 4-foot birdie putts than anyone on tour. So that's what's cooking there with him, because not a lot of people can have a 4-foot birdie putt anyway. Russell Henley can. So that's what I like about him here. I think at one point he was in contention to win last year. I remember I had him as an outright. I love the course fit. The short golf courses suit him nicely. I think he's going to be a nice little DFS play, though. I don't bet him outright at this course in this field, but we'll take him as a DFS play. Chris Kirk, Shane Lowry, also 2 interesting players. Shane Lowry is going to be 10% owned in this 8K range, which is going to be one of the lower owned guys, actually. The course history has 30th in the field. That's okay. We'll take him here. What we like about Shane, and it's making us take Shane at plus 125 for a top 40. If that's correct, we are betting that. And Russell Henley at plus 120 for a top 40. So we're betting those 2 guys. They're just these 2 consistent. Look at us just not even realizing it's back 9 bets. We're not even talking about the bets yet. Russell Henley, top 40 plus 120. Let's go. Sign us up for that. The top 40s for Russell Henley is fantastic, guys. If you take a look at Russell Henley's stuff here, top 40%, 53% of the time. So you're going to give me a top 40 at plus 120. I feel like that's a bet we're willing to make. And then you get Shane Lowry, who is sitting at plus 120. I don't know if that's right. But if it is, plus 125 for a top 40 for Shane Lowry is going to be somewhere that we go. He's top 40ing 79% of the time. So that's what we're liking there. Shane Lowry, look at these long irons. Really, really impressive from those ranges, which makes a lot of sense why the hell does it not make sense that he's actually 74th in the specialized off the tee stuff. So that's an interesting concept. But if we just went off of that, we wouldn't necessarily realize that he's actually pretty good with the long irons, the long woods. So We'll take our chances there. He's also very bad at making birdies, though. The bogey avoidance and par 5 scoring isn't bad, though. So we like that because that's where you're going to make the majority of your birdies this week is on the par 5s. So who were we talking crap about earlier with Matty Fitz? The par 5s, So if we're going to say if we're going to say one thing about one person, we've got to go back to Matty Fitz and say, look, the par 5 scoring, absolutely. The short game there is going to make him birdies all the time. So Shane Lowry, same situation. The iron play has been great, and he plays these hard medium golf courses, 5th best in the field. So love to see that from him. I'm starting to run out of juice. I haven't even got down 20 people yet. We got other people we're going to talk about. So we're going to stop skipping the greens and go into the blues. Chris Kirk, he's almost in at plus 120 for a top 40. We were on the podcast yesterday with Fade My Play, and he said, Chris Kirk plus 300 for a top 20 isn't the worst bet in the world either. He's been playing really good golf, and this golf course is very similar to the courses he plays well on. So if you want to bet an aggressive bet, top 20 plus 300, or a top 40 at plus 120 on DraftKings, love to see that from him. He's 21st in the last 24 rounds of golf. Why the hell not in total strokes gained? So his short game, everything about his game apart from off the tee is rather poor, but off the tee stuff is a concern on longer golf courses. This golf course isn't that. Off the tee on the specialized shorter 7,200-yard courses, 22nd in the field. So this golf course makes a lot of sense for Chris Kirk. He's 29th in course history. A lot of numbers falling under 40 there. So if you get the gist, we're going to bet Chris Kirk for a top 40 as well. We love that about it. Everything about his game translates fantastically to this venue. The long iron, the long woods aren't so good, but he's very accurate off the tee. So that's okay. He doesn't have to hit those long irons or woods. He can hit driver and be as accurate as someone with a 3-wood or a 3-iron or something like that. So love to see that from Chris Kirk. Also, the bogey avoidance. He's going to be a guy doesn't make a lot of birdies, does a decent job avoiding bogeys, but we're going to bet him top 40. You don't have to make a million birdies to finish inside the top 40. There's no points. You just have to finish there. So love that bet. Maybe if the ownership starts creeping down to like 5%, we'll go to Chris Kirk in this range as well. But I like that he goes off in that nice wave. That's also good there. So keeping on down the board. We haven't even got to our final outright of the day, I think. Who's Keegan Bradley? And Keegan Bradley's $7,500. He's 19% owned. There is so freaking much to like about this dude. Last year, he had his coming out party on the greens here. You think he finally figured out the Aim Point Express. It was wasn't Express. It was just Aim Point for Keegan for the longest time. Now it's Express. He's figuring out his putter. It's 66th in the field, which is weird because if you go look at the putting, he'll have spike weeks and then bad weeks. So there's a lot that you like about Keegan's putting. That's what you have to also look at when it comes to stats, particularly on the putting. Like a medium putter can have good and bad weeks, which is exactly what you want to look for. Keegan's one of those guys. He is grossly mispriced at $7,500, which is very disappointing. I haven't made up my mind about Keegan yet. I love him. Obviously, we've bet him at 60-61. I think Keegan Bradley is going to be the guy. It's going to be the guy this week. He's made cuts at this venue at an incredible rate, and it's just something that Keegan Bradley does well is this golf course, okay? So off the tee, he's awesome. Look at this. Medium golf course scoring, 18th in the field. Off the tee on specialized 7,200 yards or shorter, 22nd. Love that. Long irons, 225 to 250, 16th. Once you get to 250 plus, you might have a sample size problem there. One or two bad shots could be like 30% of your total sample size from 250 out. Or you could just like a layup or something, from that distance. So you never know what they're doing. But from inside 250, Keegan Bradley 16th in the field, folks. So love to see that from him. The inside of 5 feet putting is very nice too. Lots of exciting stuff from him. The course history, fantastic. I love the 66-1. He's just got what I think you need at this venue. The short game, like we said, it can come and go. But when you're hitting a lot of greens like he can, that's okay. Tommy Fleetwood is a guy that's we've been trying to just get him to work for us. And he was a top 40 bet last week and then played the weekend 3 over par. If he cashes the top 40 bet, we're profitable. He didn't, we lost money. That's the fine line we're betting at back 9 bets right now. We had 2 out of our 5 placements cash. Tommy Fleetwood would have made it 3 out of our 5. Such is life. So thanks for nothing, Tommy. Even after we bet him top 20 at the Genesis, he cashed. Then we go to the API and he can't finish top 40 on a different bet even. So whatever. But course history for Thomas Fleetwood. I don't even know if it's Tommy. It's probably Tommy. It's not Thomas. Course history, 11th in the field. Love that about him. Why? What about his game screams that he's going to play well here? The fact that he's the best around the greens, maybe a little bit. But also, maybe he's just knows he's not a good iron player, so he's hitting it to different places, right? So he doesn't necessarily hit in the water, gives himself an opportunity to get up. He plays medium golf courses, the 9th best in the field. That's also nice to see. Off the tee, oh boy, not good. Nothing off the, the recent putting also rather poor. I don't know, I don't know. I actually don't know about Tommy Fleetwood. The course history though, at $7,900, go for some course history, see what happens. Adam Hadwin. This, to me, is a bit more appealing. He's $800 cheaper than Tommy Fleetwood at $7,100. 6% owned. Course history of 26th in the field. And then we start seeing a nicer, more tolerable set of statistics from this dude. The Canadians, very kind to our stats. Total off the tee, 44th recently, whatever. Medium golf courses, 46th, whatever. Accuracy off the tee, 28th in the field. Good drives gained, 38th in the field. Love that stuff. Approach play baseline, 27th. The weighted proximity numbers, kind of approaching Fitzy area there, but that's okay. He's also got a very tidy short game, 23rd around the greens, 43rd on putting, blah, 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 all of that jazz. Bogey avoidance of 35th. So Adam Hadwin's just going to kind of coast his way through this venue, protect himself from double bogeys, make the odd bogey, make the odd birdie. That's fine. That's exactly what we're looking for from Adam Hadwin at $7,100. From one Adam to the next, we got Adam Scott over here at $7,700. He's 7% owned. Let's see what he can get up to. Off the tee, he's been crushing it lately, but doesn't play the medium golf courses all that well, although this golf course seems like he plays fantastic golf over the last 5 years. It's interesting because what about his game, the weighted proximity numbers? He's a par 5 scorer. That's exactly what he does well, is the par 5 scoring for Adam Scott. And there's 4 of them. And if you can dominate those par 5s, that's what you want to do, so let's go. Adam Scott, $7,700. I like it. He makes a decent amount of birdies, compared to Tommy Fleetwood. You got that boring old wavy haired Jesus there at the top. He's cheaper than him. He's got the same ownership. Let's sign us up for some Adam Scott versus Tommy Fleetwood. We know that's going to end up being a very good decision. Yeah. Famous last words. Brian Harmon, 4%, $7,400. Charman Harmon off the tee. Very consistent, accurate, and good drives gained. Inside the top 10 for both those metrics. Very good from far away. For a guy this short, off the tee and in real life, he's actually pretty good from far away. Must just get one with the earth, maybe that's what he gets up to. But from 225 to 250, he's 8th in the field in proximity, which is really impressive. So he must hit that 3 hybrids so well. We'll see what he can get up to. Bogey avoidance is 12th in the field, so you're always going to have a bit of love-hate relationship with the guy. He does what he can. I like him. I like him in DFS. I like him a lot. JT Poston, also an interesting guy. We almost got to him at plus 175 for a top 40. I think Aaron Wise, they made us one bet Aaron Wise, the model, at plus 175. I don't know. This recent ball striking going into a course that requires that, I'm not sure I can bet that. I don't know if I can do it. So that's why I kind of glossed over him, not even playing him in DFS. Maybe it's 2%. We never know. Kurt Katayama stuff. But also, Aaron Wise, there's not a lot that makes sense about him here. Although there's a lot that we I don't know. What is Aaron Wise's deal? You make up your own decision. We got to get off this podcast at some point. JT Poston, like him a lot for this ownership. Sets up for this golf course quite nicely. Got a decent course history here. The par 5 scoring for JT Poston is going to be what we like here at this price range at 2%. Let's go. I mean, the guy that's 19th in par 5 scoring, that's $7,000, 2% owned. You got to find a reason to get the guy in your lineup. And I love that about him. The course history, that makes a lot of sense because of that par 5 scoring. So JT Poston. Whew. Jason Day, $8,000, 24% ownership right now. Everybody's talking. I mean, what are we doing, DraftKings? Strokes gained total over the last 24 rounds, 4th. Let's price Jason Day $8,000. Now what? A quarter of the field's going to be playing this dude at a golf course that he's got the 19th best course history in. He's easily, look at all this pink. The majority of the pink in this range is his. It's all J Day's pink. What's going on? Off the tee, 15th. Strokes gained total, 4th. Putting, 3rd. Around the green, 13th. The approach play, bit of a concern, but everything else is fantastic. He's fantastic from 5 to 15 feet. And these are all stats that, the model isn't a fan of J Day because 2022 wasn't his year. This year, he's been playing very good golf. DraftKings priced him at $8K. What on earth? So, just out of principle, if we're going to play a free square, I'd rather play a Keegan Bradley free square than a Jason Day free square. Free square, as in great value, potential to miss the cut. At this golf course, there's no guarantee you're going to make the cut. But if we're talking about a random free square, theoretically, J Day. I mean, he's made 70% of his cuts. This is the last 20 rounds. I think if you take the last 10, it's probably up in the 85% range, maybe 90 even. So a lot to like about him. We'll see. Seamus Power made the cut last week. My 6 for 6s went from 20% to 50% in that $10 18 entry that I did, that I freaking finished second in. Thank God I never had Seamus in that lineup because he changed the cut. If he missed the cut would have been +1. But he finished +2, made the cut, and then shot 10 over par on the weekend to finish +12 for the week. Scored 30 points, making the cut. So I basically had 30% extra 6 for 6s, but they were basically 5 for 6s with Seamus playing as shit as he was. So that's okay. Going to a golf course, you played it well last year. Sign us up for Seamus. 5% owned, $7,400, especially after a really bad performance last week. He's been playing really good. I think he had 8 straight top 25s entering last week. He was also another guy that couldn't cash as a top 40. He made the cut. I was like, okay, boy, let's go. Top 40, let's go. Nope. Last or second last. The guy just was terrible. So that's what's cooking with him. Tyrrell Hatton also, if you look at his recent performance, 11th in the field, $8,300. Not as egregious as Jason Day. I'm not sure I like Tyrrell's weighted proximity numbers. I like him from the Bay Hill side of things. Long, booming drives, long irons into these screens, and then he's a really good putter. So that's what's going on there. But the bogey avoidance is not good for Tyrrell at all. Alex Noren's another guy that we want to talk about. Just $7,300. Look at this putting. Last 24 rounds on putting, short game. He's a very good short game specialist. On the medium courses, 27th in the field. Everything else is mediocre. But if you're looking for a puntish kind of a play, $7,300, 3% owned, Alex Noren. Johnny Vegas, great course history, off the tee, very nice stuff. The specialized off the tee, 64th, that's okay. He's solid. So bear that in mind. If you're looking for a guy in the $6,800 range, that's 12th in par 5 scoring in the field. There's 4 of them. If he makes the cut, he's going to have 16 shots at pretty much a birdie or an eagle every time. Johnny Vegas is your guy. $6,800. Why the hell not? I mean, he's one of the best in this range in par 5 scoring. So love to see that. Joel Damon's course history is fantastic. It makes the world of sense why he plays good golf here. Look at this. Good drives, gain, and accuracy. Fantastic stuff. And I think Joel, just going off of the full swing, is, I don't want to call him sorry for himself, but I don't think he has the confidence in himself to take down a place like Brookline. He had no business playing well in that golf tournament, which I think he had no expectations, so he just ended up playing well. Going to a course like this, he's a lot better off the tee when it comes to medium golf courses, like medium length golf courses, sorry. That's what I meant. And he's lacking distance off the tee, but he's very accurate. So I like his chances on courses that he can rely on his driver's strength, which is accuracy, versus not having that distance on the longer tracks that we typically see and have come from recently. So Joel Damon, sign us up at $6,800. Justin Rose has got some really good course history here too. You play these old dudes at the course history golf courses. You play them when they do good things at these places, and it's typically because of his short game. So they'll figure it out. Justin Rose, pretty solid off the tee from 250 plus, hits that 3-wood. That's what we're going to need to see from him on a course like this with all these layups, and he's a very good putter. So that's what we like about him. Emiliano Grillo led the field in ball striking last week, and absolutely the putter has just gone off the boil. He lost like 10 strokes putting last week. Yeah, not good. But that's weird because that's Brendan Todd. Yeah, that's not Emiliano Grillo. That's Grillo. So Grillo changed from a typical grip, a normal, but just hold it straight, to the claw, and his putting got better. And it seems like it's gone off the boil a little bit. But if you're looking for a golf course that we just need ball striking from, Emiliano Grillo is one of those guys. I mean, holy cow, he could not have hit the golf ball better. Nobody did last week. Nobody. And he's very accurate off the tee when it comes to driving the golf ball. Very nice stuff on the specialized accuracy, good drives gained off the tee, weighted proximity numbers, all of that inside the top 40 here. Let's go. Grillo, again, he's not going to lose 10 strokes putting again. I mean, Jesus, Lord help us if he does. But we'll take our chances at $6,800 after a week like that. Taylor Pendrith is a guy that I know a few people that I've chatted to recently. I think, who was it? Played my play yesterday. I know Ron, tomorrow on the DFS show we do for BetSperts, is going to mention Taylor Pendrith. Putting, great. He's been putting a lot better. Pretty much since we bet against him in 3 matchups at Pebble, he's been playing great golf. So you are welcome for that, Taylor Pendrith. We'll just mention him. Webb Simpson is going to catch some steam, folks. $6,800. Went 6 or 7 straight birdies in a row to end last week. His problem has been consistency. Now we go to a course like this that he's got the best course history at. At 5% ownership, why the hell not? If it gets crazy out of control, leave him alone. But if it's sitting around about 5, I think you can take a gamble on him. Absolutely. The approach play is coming along nicely. Off the tee, not so hot. We'll see what we can get up to. I think that's what's been causing him issues, is the off the tee stuff. You just can't get rolling when it comes to doing that. So we'll see what Webb gets up to. Scooting on down the board here. Like a Nate Lashley makes a lot of sense at this golf course too. Just a quick mention to him. Nick Taylor. Look at this. Just going under the radar. Nick Taylor, $7,200. No, $7,000 flat. 2% owned. Strokes gained total over the last 24 rounds. It's just shy of Ricky Fowler, who's 10% more owned than him, and $5,000 more expensive. So don't tell your friends about Nick Taylor. Just know that Nick Taylor is going to be in a lot of my lineups at $7,000 and 2% owned. Short game Fundi almost won the Waste Management Phoenix Open. The guy has been putting out impressive golf. Okay, the course history of 56th is also totally fine. For a guy that's 7,002% owned, he might be the Kurt Kitayama of this week. Shh, don't tell anyone. Moving on, Sepp Straka. Great course history, 16th in course history. He's been hitting his approach play very, very nicely. Love to see that from the guy. 38th in putting, and you got a good putter and a good approach player at $7,200, 2% owned. Ding, ding. That's some nice stuff. We'll see what he can get up to off the tee. 74th on the shorter golf courses. He's got 2 really impressive parts of his game, which we love to see. So down here in the $7,200 range, 2% owned, Sepp Straka, let's go. Nice course history. You know, we love course history for guys that are cheaper priced. That's definitely a very nice thing to latch onto a golfer. Doug Gim, look at this course history. Second in the field. Like this guy's course history, he plays so freaking well when it comes to this golf course, guys. I don't even know what to make about Doug Gim's situation here. Doug Gim played here twice, 8 rounds, 1.7 total strokes. You know, love to see that from Doug Gim. Like there's no one better than him over the last 8, like 8 rounds or maybe a bit more. You know what I'm saying? Course history here from Doug Gim, great stuff. Kevin Kisner, also another course history gem, 32nd in the field in course history. Love to see that. The accuracy and good drives gain makes a lot of sense. Very good putter, putts well in general. Been putting well lately. We'll see what he can get up to. You never know. $6,800, Kevin Kiz. So that's what's cooking. Maybe throw a little bit of Gary Higo in there, $6,700, blah, 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 and then go from there. So I managed to power through it. The MJ flu game got me on my ass, but it's the players. Couldn't pass this one up. I'm dying over here. Thank you for sticking through it with me, folks. I really appreciate your support. Episode 53, sponsored by rotoballer.com. Use code Maniac for 10% off. It's the players. Let's go win this thing. I'm going to let people know if I take Max Homer, but the outrights we have are Colin Morikawa. We've got Tony Finau. We've got Tom Kim. We've got Tom Hoagie. And we've got Tony Finau. I don't know if I've said Tony Finau twice, but those are the guys. And Keegan Bradley. Duh. Keegan freaking Bradley. Love him this week. Going to be playing Max Homer in one and done. Going to potentially bet him T5 if I can't find a winner on him. Max Homer is giving me the FOMO of hell this week. So we're going to find exposure for sure, and we'll be playing a lot of him in DFS. That's what we got cooking here this week. Good luck. Have some fun. Be a nice human. Love somebody around you. And let's have ourselves a fantastic week at the Players, friends. Peace.